Hello there, this is Rom coming back at you with yet another car video. Thug Maxin is just straight whack. Thug Maxin. And I thought this conversation, I hadn't said anything about it back when people were talking about it, but apparently it's still out there. I saw some on Facebook, somebody was talking about some Thug Maxin and shit. And I'm like, what the fuck? Seriously, man, that shit is just straight whack. Thug Maxin. And for those who might have been under a rock, don't know what that is, it's the belief that women just go for thugs. Particularly in the black community, but you got some other stuff in other communities too. But in the black community, like, y'all know me, that I'm against all that, like, Pookie and Ray Ray bullshit. Thinking, there's actually been some Bamas. Yeah, I'm gonna call them straight Bamas. Talking about Rob trying to, like, not talking about it. Man, you coming off like a straight bitch. Anybody thinking about that shit? That shit is just straight whack all the way around, man. First of all, look. First of all, if you ain't a thug, you ain't living a life, you ain't about that life or something. You just ain't about that life. Now, I'm gonna give y'all some, like, shit with me. Rom ain't no thug, but I've been around some thugs. Had some thugs and, like, true to the game thugs in the family. Ain't nothing cool about that life, man. In fact, I still remember one time, man, I was hanging out with some, like, true to the game thugs, and they were like, Rom, take your ass home, man. Get the fuck out of here now. These were my buddies. They were yelling at me. They about to get into some shit. They say, Rom, this ain't what you supposed to be doing, man. Dude, you be in those books and shit, man. You better get the fuck out of here. They were yelling at my ass. I knew some. I could navigate around some. But, learning from them, and then learning from some family members, and then, one of my 1,000 jobs was working at the D.C. courthouse, working for defense attorneys. Shoot, that's all true to the game thugs. Had to serve subpoenas on them. Shout out K Business Podcast, because he be serving subpoenas and stuff. Hey, but seriously, that's fuck all that shit. If you ain't about that life, you ain't about that life. And if somebody call you a square or something like that, take that shit proudly. In fact, there was a clip I saved on IG. And this dude was saying, hey, those squares, they were cool and shit. Because they be the ones be on the long term, got the money and all that shit. Fuck it. Hey, if you want to be a Colton. Now, you get some dudes talking about, well, look at somebody like Future. Look at somebody like Tupac. Well, first of all, Tupac, man, he was just playing a role. Shoot, Future just playing a role and shit. But those are just roles. We talking real life, man. What the fuck you want to be that shit for? Well, we know what y'all wanted to be that shit for. But if you ain't grow up in that environment, you ain't been in that environment where you got to keep your head on a swivel or some shit, trust me, you did something. I was close enough to that shit, man. There ain't a life you want to live, shoot. You want to live a life where you at peace and shit. You want to live a life where you ain't walking around with a criminal record and stuff and can't even vote. All this talk about voting and stuff, there's some dudes wish they had the ability to vote. Ain't even about who to vote for, but wish they had the ability to vote. But they were in that thug shit. True to the game shit. Man, fuck all that shit, man. Ain't nothing wrong with that shit. Ain't nothing wrong with ain't nothing wrong with just being some square dude. Nah, you ain't no thug. Nah, you ain't. If you get some tats, you only doing that shit because you like the art of it. You ain't getting it to be on some thug shit. Fuck all that shit, man. That ain't the life you want to live. And let's be real. Let's be real why somebody would even think about thug maxing. To get some pussy. I'm going to tell y'all something now. I like how this ex-cop said that shit. He said that shit best. In fact, I shouted his name out because I shouted his name out before, Russell Price. He said he don't want to mess with a woman. Gonna mess with a thug. Shit, neither do I. You get one of those women, yeah, they got a fat ass. Yeah, they looking good and shit, sexy, hot. Look like they'll like top you off, all that shit. They got a shelf life though. Seriously. You check all those women dealt with some thugs and stuff. They really hit a wall. Fuck, like a lot of guys talk about the wall and stuff. Yeah, mess with some women, mess with a thug and shit. They never look good. Those bitches never look good. I know I don't use the word bitch, but let's just call it for what it is. If you get some woman and she all up into getting into some thug or some shit, what the fuck you want her for? That woman no good. She's shit. Because I'm going to tell you something now. If you ever run into a woman, she said, well, he got to be bad. He got to be a thug. That's telling you right there something wrong with her. Because you got guys talking about all this shit about, got guys talking about women's body count and all that shit. I'm going to tell you something now, though. It does matter. Not even so much the count, but what type of guys that a woman is let up in her. What the fuck y'all want what the fuck you want some woman, want some thug up in her? And some crazy, like, psychotic ass shit. The fuck you want her? As soon as a woman, that's one thing. Whenever I ran into a woman like that, I was like, damn, thanks for letting me know. Oh, I'd be like, damn, you got a fat ass too. And just move the fuck on. Seriously, guys be talking all that shit thinking they gonna get some baddie. Or then say, well, yeah, they'll get that guy. They'll get that guy and then they'll get that thug and then they want that good guy. Like I said, both Tupac and Future. Neither one of them were true to the game thugs. Because if they were, you wouldn't have heard about them. True to the game thugs be out here in the streets and all that shit, man. Even if you get some rappers, if they some true to the game thugs. And they like sitting in a courtroom. Think about it. They sitting in a courtroom. Yeah. The next bit of sex might be somebody want to take that shit in prison. The fuck all that shit. And if a woman like that shit, they tell you everything about the woman. Because first of all women ain't checking for them. All these guys thinking women checking for some thugs or some Pookie, Ray, Babas, whatever the fuck. They ain't all checking for them. You got plenty of women. I told you, a third of my consultation clients are women. And they some fine women and stuff. Talking about they want some nerdy shit. And they just want a decent dude. They don't want no thug. And you know what? The sex they did have, they only had like decent dudes run up in them. Yeah, and they didn't have a bunch of crazy motherfuckers running up in them. Why would you, seriously, fellas, I want y'all to really think about that. Anybody who's seriously thinking about that shit, what the fuck would you want that woman for? That woman no good. I don't care how fine she is. I don't care how pretty she is. Shit, very few of them naturally pretty any damn way. They got all that shit, all that makeup on and all that shit, man. You see them without that makeup. And you be like, well, damn, they just average. Meanwhile, that more natural girl, nerdy girl, dorky girl, good girl, and stuff. And let me hit on something too. Because you get a lot of guys say, well, goody girls go for them. How many goody girls you know that's actually went through for an actual true to the game thug? And if you can count them, that means you really didn't know. The exception ain't the rule. Fuck all that bullshit. The exception is not the rule. Most goody-goody girls going for goody-goody guys. Alright? Most of them going for goody-goody guys. You want that woman going... You don't want some woman walking around with a fucked up attitude and all of that shit. Cause she done dealt with some guy who kept her head on a swivel. She done hid some shit. Shit. And for that rare exception and shit, well, that's just it. Just exception. You don't want to deal with her. And then, I'm going to tell you something now. Let's get back to the men themselves. Why the fuck would you want to be who you ain't? As a man, you want to be strong in who you are. And you want to be good with it. Everybody talk about, like, use that example of Carlton from the Fresh Prince and shit. Well, the old Fresh Prince. The new Carlton, he got some thugs. He got some thug in him. But the old one and stuff, I mean, that dude stuck, he stuck with who he was. You know? He stuck with who he was. As a man, you want to stick with who you are. As a man, shit, the fuck you want to be? Do you want to put yourself in a position where the cops can come at you, or somebody crazy coming after you, or you had your head on a swivel? Trust me. Like I said, I ain't claiming no thug shit, but been around them and shit. That was bad enough. Shoot, you want to be in a position where shit's peaceful. Because if you look at, like, the powerful men on this planet, guys who grew up in good neighborhoods and shit, their heads ain't on the swivel. Nah, they might not come at what it was considered cool. But even that, even what's promoted in the media and shit, who the fuck getting paid for that shit? Not these thugs, they ain't getting paid for it. Let's just be real with it. Some dudes who never been in those neighborhoods, never been around all that shit, laughing all the way to the motherfucking bank. They getting paid for it. The thugs, they ain't getting paid for it. You getting a bunch of police officers, judges. Shit, you got whole economies based on some fools acting like a thug. And then even in some states, Louisiana, I think Alabama too. Maybe Mississippi, I ain't even sure. Those motherfuckers on some slave shit. But they thought it was cool to be on some thug shit. Please. Fuck all that. You know, as a man, you gonna be who you are. You trying to have freedom. You trying to have sovereignty. And like, you got a lot of dudes who listen to my sovereignty videos on Saturdays, right? How you gonna have some sovereignty and you got a warrant out on you? Or how you gonna have some sovereignty and because of your record you can't vote? And I've heard some places you can't even get a fucking license. And you definitely can't get a job in some places. How the fuck you gonna be sovereign on that shit? And usually trying to be something that you not. And usually, and let me get back to what I was saying earlier. Like I said, I've been around some true to the game thugs. I've been around some true to the game thugs and shit. Like I said, one time a group of them told me, they say, Ron, get the fuck out of here. Just go home now. These are my boys, they were yelling at me. They were like, get the fuck out of here. You don't want to be around this. I was good with it. I was cool with them otherwise, but whenever they about to get into some shit, I was like, hey, I'll see y'all later. I learned. But shit. Some of those motherfuckers was asking me how I was doing in school and shit. That's what look. It's understandable if you just around that shit, but that shit ain't cool. And you ain't trying to be that if that ain't you. Alright? And definitely not to get no pussy. Definitely not to get. I'm gonna reiterate that. Trust me. First of all, the type of pussy that the type of woman who's gonna fuck with some thugs, shit, she might be carrying something. See, that's the type. I'm gonna tell you what, dude. That's the type of woman. Not only what she might burn you, but she might be the type who, like, she get pregnant, tell you it's your baby because she know you'll take care of it, knowing that shit Pookie's child. And then act like when that baby come out, don't look like shit like her, don't look at shit like you, talking about, oh yeah, this look like my Uncle Junior. Everybody got Uncle Junior. Shit. Or they set you up, they be doing all that shit to you. That be the same motherfucker get you robbed. So what the fuck? Why would you even want the type of woman that would want a thug? Seriously. You wouldn't even want that type of woman. Hell, true to the game, thugs don't want that type of woman. So what the fuck you want that type of woman for? Don't play around. Shit, you want to have some freedom and shit. Don't fuck around. You know? Like I said, if you get some tattoos or something, only get that shit because there is a spiritual reason or it's a legitimate artistic reason. Don't get that shit trying to be on some, like, prison shit. And yeah, you know what? There are some women who do go for thugs. Leave them alone. There's some women who go for guys in prison. Leave them alone. There's a ton of women out here, man. Like I said, there's a bunch of goody women. And most of them ain't fucking with no thugs. Don't give me the exception. And don't talk about some friend or like somebody you done heard. Watch your comment get deleted. I don't have time for that shit. In fact, it's scary. You know, I was thinking about that the other day, man. I could probably put 100, at least 100. Maybe probably more than that, but at least 100 women don't have kids. Ain't messing with no like thugs or some shit in a room. And all of them in their 20s and 30s. So all of them relatively young. And you gotta ask yourself too. Here's another thing too. If you want like that ratchet type of woman or something like that, you need to seriously look at yourself and ask yourself, what is it about her that you want? What is it in you that wants that woman? You shouldn't even want that woman, because she ain't shit. Like I said, Pookie and Ray, and I've said this before when I even talked about Pookie and Ray Ray. I said, Pookie and Ray Ray, shit, thank them. They doing you a favor. Shit. They taking the women off the board. This shit, they making it clear to see the ones who worth something. Shit. They making it clear to see them. And that's who you should. You should want the good ones. You need, look, you trying to deal with some women, you don't want some women want all that drama and all that shit. You don't want all that shit. And yeah, you're a good guy. Like I said, I know this dude. I never forget what he said. He a nice guy. He didn't give a fuck. He got a son, beautiful woman, everything. He said, nah, that's who he is. If that's who you are, man, fuck it. Seriously. Don't worry about everybody else. Worry about, as a man, worry about what you doing in life. Worry about where you trying to go, what you trying to build. Fuck the rest of these motherfuckers. Seriously. Fuck them. Fuck them. You know? And what I was saying earlier, who really making the money off of them? These dudes think they owning like some block or something. You think you doing something. All you doing is making the whole criminal justice system and everything related to that rich. Bunch of corporations rich. Even in the entertainment industry, if you look at the top, who's at the top? A bunch of guys ain't been nowhere near a hood or a trailer park or a res or whatever, getting paid. And they ain't laughing with you. They laughing at your ass. So you need to be thinking about that. You need to be thinking about that shit. Seriously. And I'm just bringing that up, man. Like I said, I saw it. I hadn't really spoke on it. But that shouldn't even be a term for some dudes, some men, some sovereign men trying to do something with their lives. That's just a joke. And if that's not you, that's not you. You don't have to worry about it. Don't worry about it. You know, and don't worry about that. Hold up. Like I said, don't worry about some Future or some Tupac. Yeah, you see what Tupac is and Future. Like I said, that dude playing a role, laughing all the way to the bank. So don't worry about them, all right? Don't worry about them. And don't worry about the women who go for them. Because the women who seriously go for them, they on some fucked up shit. Alright? So anyway, y'all. That's all I got for today, y'all. I don't really got much to say. Anyway, man, I get back with all y'all. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace and blessings, y'all.